I'm gonna walk through how to get Forge. You can click download. It's gonna tell you you're gonna get a folder created for you, and it's going to install it. So we're just gonna click install there. And as you can see, it's don't be scared of this. It's going to download a bunch of stuff on your computer. And you can see kind of the progress at the bottom here where it says 3 out of 9 shell. I probably should stop my other AI currently. I'm just gonna click stop there. All right. All right, and we're back. So once we're done with installation, you're gonna get to a point where it automatically opens. I don't know if it actually loaded the model or not. So, but this is a new installation, and let's just see what we can do so far. So I'm going to write, you're going to write your prompt, or basically your description of what you want to see here, and then your negative prompt, or what you don't want to see in the bottom. There are some predetermined kind of like presets here already. So I don't know, let's just do that. And let's write like some cyberpunk 2077 or something, and let's click see what happens. And if you want to see what's actually happening on the back end, you can always click this terminal button. So on the memory side, you can see we're loading a model into the video card memory, and nothing is going into the normal memory. It's all going to VRAM. So if you open up terminal, you can see that we're loading 7 out of 20 steps right now. And it's probably going to take another 30 seconds. We do have a progress slider here and a small preview. Now again, this is just default. We are using Flux 1, right? So this is the N4, so it's like it's a smaller version, not as accurate model of Flux. And that's what we got. So this is our image. We didn't really add too much in the prompt. We could say like city, scape, cars. Yeah, so let's see what happens there. So some of these things you can change to adjust how the image is gonna look. And let's just remove the presets. We're just gonna go with that. That's our default. And again, so 20 steps is kind of low, I would say. Like I never really use 20 steps, only for like a preview, and everything else is I try to get maybe like 50 steps, 35 minimum. And we also have the width and the height here of the image that we're generating. So right now we're getting a 1080p image. So we're almost there. So this is going to be our image. I will show you how to get some of the better models as well. So that's pretty good actually. We got our cars, we got our cityscape, and it's kind of like a cyberpunk-esque. let's just say cat on a skateboard, right? We can do that as well. Unfortunately, the default model it downloaded is kind of slow. Usually for me it takes like 20 seconds to generate, maybe a bit less. But it is a Flux model. So basically, Flux is a type of model that you can have. And it is one of the later ones. So you can actually switch to different kinds of models. So you got like an XL or like a XL stable diffusion model, or as I think I believe it's like the first model that ever was stable diffusion. And that's the image that we got. Now there are ways to increase the resolutions of these images. So you would basically, you could throw it into like a custom text to image upscaler, and it will like upscale this to a bigger resolution, because right now it's only 1024, so it's by 1024 or 896 by 1152. You can also do like a high res fix here, right? So this will, like, if you select, I forgot, I think it's something like that, and then instead of upscaling by 2, upscale it by like 40%. Let's give it like 35 steps, and yeah, so the denoising strength should be like 0.4. If you put like 0.7 on the upscaler, it's just gonna start to change everything up. And I want to try Ghibli. Okay, so let's see how this works. Again, I will while we're waiting, so it's gonna take about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes. It's gonna generate the picture first, then it's gonna upscale it. So while we're waiting, I'm just gonna show you a website that is going to be very helpful. So here we go. It's called Civit AI. So literally that's the link over there. You don't have to make an account, but you will be able to see and do more things if you do link your account, like a Google account. So at the top row here, you got the different kinds of models. So I'll show you just quickly what they are. So let's say you load by the year, and you got not when. So these are like video models. So when video, video, LTX, those Mochi, these are all video models. So what you're going to be looking for is checkpoint. So you can select checkpoint here, and you're going to do anything that's like stable diffusion. If you want with super fast images, you got lightning, SDXL lightning, and hyper. Then you got your flux, which is what we're using currently, and then stable diffusion. So stable diffusion 1, 1.5, I would say don't touch at this point. In 2025, mostly we're taking a look at stable diffusion XL and hyper. And 3.5, you don't really need to take a look at. There's really nothing there anymore. Unfortunately, it hasn't taken off because we did have flux. So these will take quite a lot of RAM. And Pony is also based on SDXL, but it's trained on a lot more data. And Pony will be, I think it's quite, the images that you get from Pony are pretty good. But I do like the lightning and hyper. versions of SDXL. So like the Juggernaut SDXL is pretty good. So all you have to do is click in there and you're gonna download it. So you're gonna find the version that you want. In this case, I don't know. So here's some previews of SDXL, right? You're gonna click download and it's gonna ask you where you want to save it. So what we have to do is we have to find the folder where all of your files or models are currently saved. So if you go to files here and go to, oh, I guess they're saved here. It's supposed to be an app, I believe, not modules, models, stable diffusion. And so they would be here. So if you click view folder, it's gonna open up the location of that, right? So this is the location of all the models. And all you have to do is copy this. So you're gonna click Control C, copy. And so when you click download here, you're gonna just paste it in the bar. And you're gonna click save. So now we're saving the Juggernaut XL model. So we're just gonna move that for a bit. All right, so we're downloading the Juggernaut. If we go back to Web UI, we'll see what's happening. And I don't even know if I'm in focus right now. Sorry guys, I'm using a manual lens on the camera and I'm just trying to stay in the plane of focus. So, and I'm using like a key microphone. Okay, well. So this is still loading. And if you ever want to see where all of the pictures are saved, all you have to do is click this folder button and that's going to open up a folder for you. So in this case here, and they're sorted by date. So here are all the pictures, right? So if you click that to enlarge, so this is a Studio Ghibli, cat, cyberpunk, there's buildings and cars. It's close to what I want. Not exactly. I do want to try out the SDXL and I want to show you that as well. And also, let's just check how much RAM we're using. We are currently using 14.6 gigs of RAM out of the 24. And so if I were to load the full Flux Schnell FP8, this is going to give you a bit more accurate pictures. It might take a bit more time as well. Normally, I don't care to load the full floating point models. Wow, there's a video in here. Wow, okay, we're not going to do that. Definitely not going to do that. And let's just, while Excel is loading, or this one is also loading. So while that's loading, oh no, skin enhancer. While that's loading, let's just take a look at some of the options here, because this is kind of crazy over here. I'm going to deselect the high-res fix. And the steps we're going to just put back to 20 again. So some of the settings here are mostly like the sampler methods. So it's basically this, not the style, but the way it generates. I would play around with this. There are some good ones, and I do like to use like a beta interpreter here, so that speeds up the workflow. Oh, why are you generating? I did not click. I do not want to generate right now. That's just 2 women. Cyberpunk. right? Let's just do that so we can get the skin enhancer going as well. So some of these are like Euler A. They're ones you can look up online and the differences, right? Now if we just click Euler A and beta, I doubt this will work because I think Flux uses the Euler and then the default. But really you look up online and see which is the best one for the specific model you're using. But I just want to show you like what happens, I guess, if you don't do it correctly or if you don't put the proper scheduler. And we are using quite a bit more RAM, as you can see on this Flux FPA model. We're using like 20 gigabytes of VRAM. All right, so as you can see, if you don't put the correct schedulers, you get kind of like a blurry mess. So for now, let's just go back to our, you can actually click automatic and that should be fine. Okay, ControlNet is one of the best things I believe that we have in Flux. And what that is, while I'm doing this extra generation here, what that is ways to control your image. So think of it like kind of, let's say you have like a face you want in your Flux image that will generate. Oh my god, what did I do? So that's another error. Let's just not do anything. Did I click something wrong? Right, I didn't click simple. All right, so what you can do is basically like add a mask if you want, or you have like an other image as an example. So you can kind of like copy the style of a different image or copy the face, or you want to like cut out. So this is like pretty good, kind of like Photoshop-esque. And there's quite a lot of things you can do here that I believe is like kind of insane. Like you can copy a face with using just the IP adapter. So if you have a face you want specifically from another image, or you can use multiple stable diffusion control nets. It's like 0, so you can have up to 3, I believe, but it will eat into your RAM. So just watch that. You can recolor, you can rearrange the pose, match the pose of some other picture. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of options with ControlNet. Is pretty good. And I believe that's okay picture, you know. If the more words you put here for the description, the better your images are gonna look. And one of the ways you can do that is like, because it's really hard to come up with original ideas, but to get started, I would also again suggest just go to Civet AI and you can look through some of the images that are here. And if you want to try to get the similar style, some of them should have your prompts. So let's just say I really like this prompt, right? So all you can do is you can copy this prompt, and what you're gonna do is just gonna paste it, right? Again, you're gonna copy the negative portion, and then you're gonna paste it. And you can see what they use here is Juggernaut XL. And if you want to match everything exactly, they use 6 steps, and then this is your sampler, guidance, and seed, right? So if I click it now, it's really not going to be exactly what I wanted to. Let's just put 35 steps because 36. Okay. So let's see how it comes out. But it's not going to be exactly what you want. missing a light here. Ah, there we go. Didn't know we didn't have light for a bit there. Well, learning how to use most of this stuff still. Ah, there we go. All right, now I'm in focus. And now you have a starting point for your images that you like. And again, I would say 35 would be the minimum. I know other people say like 20, 25 is good enough, but I haven't had much luck with those. Mostly 35. If you're doing SDXL or the Lightning, really you want to be using like 60 plus steps. So I feel like you really need it for the quality. And based on SDXL, it's pretty fast. So we'll see that soon. So as you can see, here's an image of the one we just did. And hopefully, yeah. So Juggernaut just loaded in. Again, this is the hyper version. So I don't even know if it's gonna work because hyper is a bit different. It requires some of the extra VIEs. So let's just see. So in terminal, is it gonna download the requirements? And again, if you need to know what the requirements are for that model, so for hyper, let's say, you'll just scroll down and it's going to tell you, usually in the description. So these are your recommendations for the settings. VAE is baked in, so that's pretty good. And then you want this upscaler. So I don't have this upscaler, but luckily, yeah, I don't even have the upscaler here. But you're just gonna have to search that upscaler. It should give you. All right, so let's just go back. Here we got an image. And as you can see, it's kind of strange, right? And so the reason that is, right, it's not exactly what you want here. And that's because we're using a hyper model. So hyper models are much faster, but they give you like kind of weird images, I would say. So you would really need to tweak it. So 30 to 40, CFG3. Okay, so we got, let's say 40 steps. Let's say 42, who cares? Then you want to match the sampler. So the sampler should be DPM plus plus 2M SD. So we got that. CFG 3 to 6. So let's just put 6 in this case. I think this is the problem. I don't have the high res fix. And then denoiser. So this will impact some of the quality. Again, I'm just going to click. Let's see what happens with more steps. So again, this is what we got before. It's kind of weird. We got weird coloring here in the sky. And again, this is due to this being a hypermodel. If you're going to get the original, it's the original is going to be much better. I don't know what happened. So now we got issues in the lake here. And if we crank up how many sample steps we do, so let's say 88, you will see some of the quality go up, but It's not exactly the best, but see how fast it's going. Like the amount of steps per second is pretty insane. All right, we're almost there. And I think it really does need that high-res fix, unfortunately. All right, so it is much better, as you can see. So I'm just gonna click high-res fix, and I think we're gonna do... We're gonna try this one, see what happens. Again, 0.3. We'll drop the steps to 40 again. Upscale by 2 now. Let's see what happens. I'm not confident. And we'll just watch how much RAM gets used up. Again, if you use high-res fix, usually you're creating a high resolution. So the image is bigger, and so you need more RAM. Right, so I think it's done the image, and now it's just upscaling it. Yeah, now we're just upscaling. And so this is one of the ways to upscale. There is an actual second way to upscale. And it is much lighter on the memory. And what that way does is it puts the image into tiny little brackets and creates kind of like a more detail in every single box in the image. So we might do that next. So let's just finish this one. It's about 20 seconds left. It's not that much time, but might have to pause. Okay, and it's done. So let's take a look at the image. It is a bit cleaner, I feel. There is more detail in the back there. But it's definitely not as good as if you were going to use the original SDXL version of it, the Hyper. So I'm going to show you one more trick. We're not going to do upscaling a different way. I'm just going to show you one more trick that I like. So we're going to download a version of SDXL. Going to get a version of SDXL that is original and not hyper. So I believe it's this one. We're just going to download it. It's going to go here. Now we're going to pause while it downloads. All right, so we've downloaded it. And here it is. So we're gonna load it, and just to compare quality, I'm gonna remove high-res fix for now, but everything else is the same. And so hopefully that shows kind of like a quality difference between original and hyper. And then I'll show you one more thing that I really like to do by using both hyper and the original together. So here it is. This is the, I would say, okay, so it's not original. It's like a big version of the same model. And hyper is basically like a trimmed down version. So here it is. And even if it's not upscaled, you see how detailed it is. You don't have blocks here. It actually looks like a picture, right? Whereas hyper doesn't. Hyper kind of gets you, you know, the general image of what it might look like. And then the real one, the large one, will get you the full thing. Okay. But here's what I like to do. I like to run hyper, right? So I switch back to hyper, but forget the upscale for now. We click refine, and we're gonna click that. We're gonna get the hyper, the original in here. So once it reaches 80% completion, it's gonna switch over to the other model, the original model. And so if we click generate, it's actually going to, I don't know if it's gonna get use more RAM or not. So we can see here, but I believe it has to load in one and then the other. And so it does take kind of a bit more time, but I find it, you get interesting pictures because it kind of has like a bit more detail in some areas. Um, and at the same time, it does look good because it does switch over. So here's our, what it got to. So it got 80% of the way, right? It got 80% of the way and then it switched over. So that's not as good as I like it. So let's do like 60% of the way, right? So let's try that 60% and then switch over because I think 20% of 40 steps is like, there's probably not enough steps. That's the problem. And in this case, you could potentially increase the steps quite a bit because hyper is very fast. And so you'd get through those steps pretty quickly and then generate like an extra 20 steps on top of that. It's kind of boring that we're generating this. Oh yeah, so this is way better. So I want to show what it is without, here's an example of what it was before, just to see side by side. So on your left, you see the hyper, just the hyper, and then on your right, you see them combined. So that's just still the hyper. You see how there's like blocks and patches here. So this is still hyper. And this is the non-hyper. This is the full model, right? So this is the full model. And on your right, you have the combination. Right? Oh, sorry, this is still hyper. Okay, this is the full model. And then this is the hyper again. Combination. So you kind of like combining two models together, right? So maybe you think this is a bit too boring and you need it a bit like spicier, I don't know. So you can combine them. And you can do this with other models as long as they're in the SDXL family. You can combine different kind of looks together. And so I do like to use Refiner for that. Okay, but you can't like mix a Flux and an SDXL. Like that won't work. All right, so I think this video kind of dragged on for quite a long time. Let me know in the comments if you really want to see anything else. I think Flux, Forge has been covered quite a lot by other YouTubers. I'm just here showing you that it is quite easy to install with Pinocchio, um, and it is pretty like complex, but also easy to use if you just want to start using it. Because the other the other image generators that are currently um, being advertised or like being taught are pretty complex. Like if you want to just get started, yeah, it is pretty intimidating. Whereas here you just pop in and you can click generate and you got yourself an image. Like even if you don't want to download any other models, you can just click generate. You already kind of have one. You have two downloaded for you already. You just pick one that your graphics card can support. Just remember the FP8 takes up 20 gigs, and then the N4 was about 10 gigs, and then SDXLs they'll be like around 10 gigs. But I believe SDXLs could be much better quality, especially if you find the specialized one you want on Civic AI. And I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. There are quite a bit of different variations. You have, anime styles. You have quite a lot of styles. Just, explore, see what you want. And yeah, just enjoy making images. Maybe you need like a quick image for your YouTube video or something. See you next time. Hopefully we'll get to check out another kind of AI next. Right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.